You want to get
Hey
sued?
everybody, welcome to Ringside Review. We have a big show tonight. And I'm not talking about the 7-footer. I'm talking about Ringside Review. Let's just get things started right away. I'm going to introduce my co-host for the evening, the Supermark himself, Seth Holbrook.
Hey, how you doing there? And I want to introduce my co-host for this evening.
Evening.
Mike McBride. Say hello, Mike.
Hey, hello, Mike.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
I was about to say, Seth, give me your best Vince McMahon WrestleMania.
We're on our way to WrestleMania.
I was caught off guard by how good that was, Seth. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man.
I'm a genetic jackhammer.
Okay.
Sorry.
We need to have Vince in the house.
Yes, we have Vince in the house. No, actually we don't, but we do have Mr. WrestleMania himself.
Yes, we do. We'd like to introduce, without any further ado, our special guest, HBK, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Mr. WrestleMania, just in time for WrestleMania. He's reenacting his WrestleMania 12 moment. Hold on. He's reenacting his WrestleMania 12 moment. Where a giant hand appeared.
That was God.
And grabbed a can of soda.
Remember, God's his tag team partner.
In one match he was, yes.
Yes.
Well,
hey, kid, how you doing?
Because I thought...
But what did you say?
I don't know. All right.
Aww.
Speaking of WrestleMania moments, we're going to be crowning, if you would, the greatest WrestleMania moment of all times, brother. As you like to say, Seth?
Ooh, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
It's not actually what you say, but...
No, actually, I can't wait to see what we're... Because remember, folks, when we say it, it's canon.
That's what I was waiting on.
It's canon.
Seth?
Yo.
This is a very big...
Oh, yes, it is. Thank you.
What?
Nothing. The moment.
WrestleMania to us. We've actually been to one WrestleMania.
Yes, we have.
You know what's funny is if you think about it, me and you, we've had our opportunity to see actually several WrestleManias. But
yeah, we did. We just didn't have the opportunity for the money.
No, we just didn't care. I didn't care.
We didn't care. No, we didn't.
There was one in Dallas a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Which I didn't care about because the main event was Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
Triple H.
The rest of the card didn't look that great to me. I was actually in Dallas that weekend, but didn't decide to stick around for it.
That's
even though there were
fault,
lots of seats open anyway. And then they had one in New Orleans a few years ago, which isn't that terrible of a drive.
No.
I mean, to New Orleans from here, it's just, 7-hour drive.
It's 7 to 8 hour drive.
So it's not that
It depends
bad.
on traffic.
And then they went back to Houston in WrestleMania 25.
Yeah.
Or the 25th anniversary. I'm still very confused about all that. So, yeah, we didn't. But we did go visit WrestleMania for possibly what a lot of people say was the greatest WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania X7, which we were at the very second Access. Do they even still call it Access?
I don't think so. No, they do. They still call it WrestleMania Access.
It's like a fan festival.
It's
or
a fan festival.
whatever.
Instead of just one day, like it was with us, it's like a 4-day event.
They stretch it out.
They stretch it out. Yeah.
They stretch it out like Nia Jax wearing a pair of pants. You're not gonna comment on the fat shaming I just gave Nia Jax.
She is pretty hot and tempting. Oh, you were talking about the other. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
So I feel so ashamed. I feel like I should be called out.
You should be called out, but not by me.
So here we are, once again, me and Seth.
Talking about wrestling.
17 years later. Got the same shirts.
Well, I don't have that velvet shirt anymore. Oh, God. That Hot Topic velvet shirt.
Please, everyone, give Seth a hard time about that velvet shirt. Although I can't really speak too much because I was wearing a club shirt with the dragon, symbol on there. It was really kind of weird. With my backwards WWF cap, I should say.
Yeah, Attitude Era.
I just found that in the garage. It is so dirty. And
you haven't washed and tried it on?
I do have one of those cap saver things. Yeah. You can put things in the wash. So maybe I'll be doing that.
Hey, maybe so. Maybe.
Anyway, this is that was the little did we know 17 years ago that it wasn't going to get any better. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, that was obvious.
We are gluten for punishment. We're sadists.
Did you just say gluten for punishment?
Gluten. That's what I said. Not gluten. Gluten.
Seth, I don't think you made that mistake on purpose.
I did make that mistake on purpose. We just like to hurt ourselves, folks, for your amusement, to entertain you.
Let's talk about WrestleMania, the one that's coming up.
Yes, yeah, kind of weird, ain't it?
Because this WrestleMania, there was an announcement made yesterday, which coincidentally was April Fool's Day, that WrestleMania was going to be 7 hours long. And I don't know if this was an April Fool's joke.
No, that is true.
I'm hoping it's an April Fool's joke, but it's looking like it's not.
It's not. It's starting at, the pre-show starts at 5 p.m., and it's going to go all the way to midnight.
That's crazy because last year, after because the Roman Reigns match against Undertaker, that went on real late and it lasted a long time. And then Undertaker's whole retirement, it was way past midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah,
and I guess that's what they're planning again this year.
Well, isn't Louisiana Central Time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm starting to rethink this special WrestleMania show that we have planned.
Yeah, right.
Because honestly, if you think about it, if we did, because the original idea is that we were going to do a special show for WrestleMania.
We're going to do
the night of WrestleMania. We were going to do a show immediately following WrestleMania. But now I'm thinking about it, it's going to be like midnight. At the very least, when we start midnight. We may not even start till 1 if we... I'm starting to read. I don't know if we watch it here in the studio. If we watch the show here in the studio, we have a better shot.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to think about this whole special show for WrestleMania. I just now thought about that. I was like, I don't know if I want to drive up here at 1 a.m. and then do a show and then drive home at 2 or 3 a.m.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very true.
And then I gotta take the kids to school the next morning.
Oh God, you just might as well stay up.
Yeah, it's
No, that's punishment. You don't deserve that punishment, Mike. You don't deserve that stress in your life.
No, I do deserve that punishment. That's the weird thing.
Okay.
But we'll be watching and giving updates for WrestleMania at the very least. But let's talk about some WrestleMania matches. I don't know if
Big Show.
I was gonna. What about Big Show?
Big Show actually signed a new multi-year contract with the WWE.
Why?
I have no idea. He said they interviewed him at Wall Street because they were doing the Wall Street Exchange and stuff. He was talking to everybody, and he goes, "Yes, he's happy. He signed on with another and it's not a Legends contract. It's just another full contract." So something tells me in the back of my mind, that he might be Braun Strowman's partner for WrestleMania, or maybe
is Big Show a draw? Okay, was he ever a draw?
Yes, he was when he was the Giant in WCW because he was one of a kind.
So we have to go back that far.
Yes, we do.
To
He's already won every belt and everything. I don't know why they keep him. I would just use him as a talent, but he's also there to induct Mark Henry into the Hall of Fame.
He's inducting Mark Henry.
Yeah, he is. Big Show is.
That's a little weird.
Well, apparently they're like best friends or like brothers.
I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, so Mark, But I just wanted to say that I was actually finding some news and stuff here. So
and you already got Seth Holbrook exclusive.
No, but you already told me said about the WrestleMania that it will last at least 7 hours. That is Other than that,
disappointing.
Godly, now it's a task. Could you imagine being stuck there and watching that whole thing? You're like, golly.
I was actually tempted to go this year.
I know I was too.
To New Orleans, but
I thought about using,
it might be just. I was just wanting to check out New Orleans because I've never been there.
I've been there.
But WrestleMania. So let's talk about. Do you want to do our picks? I was thinking, because our picks are gonna go up against the picks of the boys over at In Your House Sports.
Yeah, sure. We can go over that.
And
real quickly.
But I was thinking, I don't want to influence their picks any. But then I realized they're not gonna watch this show. Also, it probably wouldn't influence their picks anyway. So let's go ahead and make our picks.
Right now
for WrestleMania. Let's see. I'll bring up the card real quick for WrestleMania.
Okay.
Which WrestleMania is this? Does anybody? I know it's WrestleMania Fleur de Lis, but what's the official number?
30.
Is it 33?
34. I think so.
It's 34. Yes,
I was
you're
right. Yeah, I get a cookie. WrestleMania 34.
Yes, WrestleMania 34. Let's just run down the card real quick.
All right.
We won't give you our picks. I supposedly I ought to write this down.
Supposedly.
There have been 13 matches. 13 matches listed for WrestleMania. Why in the world are there and this doesn't even include Undertaker Cena.
Yeah, that's probably the reason why, because other matches are impromptu, so they have to put at least a 2.5. I think it's a 2-hour pre-show, and then you have a 3 hour.
And Undertaker have a match. There's going to be 14 matches.
No, they are going to have a match, not if. They are going to. It's going to happen.
So
you know
apparently they've already listed the 3 pre-show matches. It's going to be the Andre Battle Royal, the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali.
Yes.
It's almost said Battle Royal after that. So let's oh boy, let's talk about the Andre Battle Royal. You got is there a favorite, a pick? I'm not gonna go through all the many different wrestlers who are in there because there's going to be a lot of them.
I say it's going. Okay, we already know. Okay, Baron Corbin, Woken Matt Hardy. Trying to think who else. The Revival, Goldust.
Yeah, because the Revival said they're going to win it as
the first tag team. Yeah, I doubt it. Sorry, guys. You know what? He was there last year. He's going to be there again this year, probably. No, I'm not going to say that. I don't know. You know, I'm just going to say a name out there. Woken Matt Hardy.
You're going with Woken Matt Hardy.
Or if not, he'll be the final 2. It'll be him and maybe the new I can't even. Incantation is right. Is that the word I'm thinking of?
Incarnation.
Thank you. Of what do you call it? Of Bray Wyatt. Yeah. I'm just very tired, guys. I've had a long weekend.
What's going on? So who's it going to be, Matt or Bray? Who do you choose?
I'm going to go with Bray.
All right. I'm going to go, and you're going to hate this pick. And the reason why you're going to hate this pick...
Are you going to say Gronk?
No. The reason you're going to hate this pick is because it could happen. I'm going with Kane. I think Kane's going to win the Andre Battle Royal. I think he's going to do it.
Oh, God. What, for he's on his way to become, hopefully, the new mayor?
He's going to win it, and then he's just going to disappear.
And be mayor in his small town?
Yep.
You know what, Kane? I hope nothing but the best, but, yeah.
All right, so... Next up, the Women's Battle Royal.
No human trafficking here.
All right, Seth, who you got for this?
For the women's?
This is a crapshoot.
I'm going to go with Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. Oh, that's a good pick.
Go with Becky.
I'm trying to think who else is in there. Have they announced anybody else in there?
Well, you got Sasha and Bailey. They're going to eliminate each other out because they can't stand each other.
That's right.
You got Absolution, and you've got the Riot Squad. They're probably going to cancel each other out.
They should just let Paige win it.
No kidding. I agree with that.
She
just
won't
let
have
Paige
to take
win
a bump, over the
just
top
for her
rope.
one match, and she doesn't take that many bumps. She just does her thing, and she wins it. There you go. But, yeah, Becky, I say she's going to win that one.
Gosh, I hate to be a copycat, but...
Hey, Naomi might. She's a good one, too.
To me, it's down between Becky and...
You're going to say Tamina for a second.
No, not Tamina. I was just going to say, I think Becky or maybe Bailey, but I'm just going to go with Becky as well.
Becky goes well, yeah.
Yeah, Becky. We'll go Becky. Congratulations, Becky. You've already won according to us.
Yes,
so
you've always won compared to me.
Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. I don't even have pictures ready for these people.
I want to see this match. This looks like it's going to be a great match. High flyer, high spots, everything match. It's going to be. It's a shame that this is on the pre-show. Like I would love to see this on the main card. But for me, I say it's going to be Mustafa.
Oh, see, now this is where I disagree with you, Seth.
Really?
I think they have been pushing Cedric and they've been building him up for about a year now. I really think it's going to be Cedric Alexander. So
I say it's Mustafa
let's
for one
see.
thing.
All
For
right.
one other reason, they're going to Saudi Arabia. They're going to the Middle East. That would be a great thing for him and for his people and everybody.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I've already made my pick. So.
You've already made your pick, yeah. And he's a face. He's a good guy. He's not a bad heel or anything like when they tried with the India circuit and then everybody pretty much booed. God, I can't even talk right now. I'm so frustrated. I'm so tired. Jinder Mahal. So, but I say Mustafa. Next.
That's a really good pick. So I regret mine. Damn, I should have picked Mustafa. That's a very good point. Oh well, the WWE hopefully will screw you over.
Oh, they always do.
Like
Come on, man. They always do. They always do.
All right, let's get to the match. You know what's funny is I don't know if these matches were just added on in order they were announced.
Yeah.
But in this, it lists Lesnar versus Reigns is the first match, which this is going to be the main event. They've already
It's
said
going to be the main
this.
event. We already know this.
Yeah,
I say the opening bout is going to be the U.S. title.
I really don't know. That's up for another. That's a whole other discussion right there.
Yeah.
What's going first? So we got Reigns versus Brock
Lesnar.
Who you got, Roman?
I got Roman because they've been pushing this for. This is the damn Roman experiment for about a year now. Vince wants this guy to win, and so it's going to be Vince. I mean, Vince. It's going to be. Well, of course it's Vince. It's going to be Roman Reigns who's going to win it.
With the way they ended it tonight, I'm really leaning toward Roman.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. Although, and I think what they're playing off of is the fact that everybody just expects this is going to happen. And so, like, they're trying to put it off like, we could just have another year of Brock coming and going as he pleases.
Oh, yeah, and just the contracts for the UFC in October, that don't mean nothing.
Well, I mean, he still was within WWE when last time he left for UFC. So theoretically, it could happen where he could retain, and we just have another year of a part-time champion. Who knows? But
I don't see that
this is the way
now.
from all the things I've read, this is the way they've had it planned. They wanted Roman to win the Intercontinental Championship, and lo and behold, he did.
He did.
And now that he's going to be the Universal Champion, and then I think this is the final part of the experiment with Roman.
Yeah, this is it.
I think after this, if he's not a draw, or if they just people can't stand him, then they're going to turn him heel or do something else with him.
He'll lose to Miz.
I don't know.
Well, that's if Miz comes back. After he comes back from being a daddy.
So
by the way, I
got-
want to say congratulations, Miz, being a new
Did
dad.
you hear what he named his baby?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. He's still
Next
awesome.
up, we're going for the heavy hitters now. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the
God.
WWE title. Seth, this is a very easy one.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
Shinsuke
or Styles?
Even though I know I'm wearing the AJ Styles shirt, but the thing is they didn't have a Shinsuke Nakamura shirt, so I had to wear one or the other. I'm going with Nakamura. Shinsuke, absolutely.
You're going with Nakamura.
I'm going with Nakamura.
Seth?
Yes, sir.
I disagree with you.
You say AJ Styles.
I think AJ Styles. I don't think there's a reason for it. I love me some Nakamura,
Yes, we do.
but he's not the draw that Styles is. When Nakamura can prove himself as a draw, that's when they'll go to him.
I think he is the draw. That's why I disagree with you on that. But the reason why I'm saying is they don't put him on TV enough. They keep holding him back and not letting him do what he could do like he did in New Japan. They're letting AJ do that.
I just don't see the WWE trusting Nakamura with,
That's it.
with their world title. I don't see them doing that.
And that's sad, too, because he's a draw. I mean, for God's sake, during half the matches, when he's in the ring, the audience is still singing his song. Well, and everything that he does.
Yeah.
So
I
come
like
on.
Nakamura. He's one of my favorites, but I just do not see
All right,
him.
I'm saying it's
going over
Shinsuke.
that. So
and
we
you were
disagree
saying
there.
it's AJ.
All right, moving on. The Intercontinental Championship.
Ooh, yeah.
The Miz defending his title against Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. Seth,
I'm going to stick.
who do you have?
I'm going to stick with the champ. I'm going to stay with him.
match?
I'm going to say The Miz.
You're gonna stay with him even after all the hard times you've been through.
Yes, I have. I'm sorry. He's so awesome. I can't help it.
The Miz is pretty good, even though he
Yes.
doesn't know how to name children. But,
Oh, but I'm gonna go with the Miz. He's gonna retain his title, and I think he will probably lose it on the Raw after WrestleMania, so he can go on and be a dad. And then they'll move him up into the main storyline against Roman Reigns.
This one's real tough. So you're going with the Miz.
I'm going with the Miz.
You write this down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Finn. I think Finn's gonna come out as the IC champ.
Finn Balor.
I really don't think it's gonna be Miz. I think it's gonna be Finn or Rollins, and it's really a coin flip it right now. I think actually, I
Finn
think they
will
can do
win.
more. I think
Finn will win it at Raw the next day.
I think Finn could do more with the club, Balor Club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he needs it as much as Rollins, because after this, what is Rollins going to do? If Rollins, if he's the IC champ, then he's got something to do. If he doesn't have the IC title, then it's like, what's he going to do? I don't know.
Oh, that's easy.
But I'm going to give it to Finn.
What do you call it?
I'm going to give it to Balor.
Him and Roman could have a good program together. And that's what they'll do. They will.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
And then when Dean shows up and later in the year, there you go.
Do they know when he's coming back?
They said around SummerSlam time, either before or after. So
I have so many. Where's my Seth? Seth Rollins. Here we go.
Right here.
Here's the shield right there.
Seth
Here we
Rollins.
go.
I'm sorry.
All right, Seth. No, you're not the Seth I'm talking about. The U.S. title. This is multiple people matches for.
It's a 25% for each four.
Different titles.
I'm going to go with the favorite, the fan favorite.
No, let's just announce who's in the match.
Oh
first.
yeah, okay.
So it's Randy Orton,
yes,
who is somehow the U.S. title, who is somehow the U.S. champion.
Yeah, for some reason,
defending his title against Bobby Roode and Jinder Mahal, as well as Rusev. I'm guessing you're saying the fan favorite, so that must mean you're going for Jinder Mahal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I'm going for Rusev. It will be a Rusev day at WrestleMania. He will have his Rusev moment, his Rusev day, and he will have the U.S. title back again, like he did which WrestleMania was it? He showed up with a tank against John Cena.
That was in San Francisco, so it was 31.
Okay, but yeah, I'm going with Rusev.
Wait,
he is so over.
I think
he is so over.
It's
Rusev.
hard as hell. Because I got all these WrestleManias now. They've taken away the numbers, so it's hard for me to. Because now I think of them as WrestleMania Play, WrestleMania Star. It's
WrestleMania, whatever that sign is in front of that little.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go with you. I'm thinking Rusev's gonna walk out with it. I think it's gonna be Rusev Day.
It's Rusev Day. Well, of course, it's
although
always
I don't
Rusev
think
Day.
they like Rusev there, but
just the fans do.
Yeah.
Number one selling shirt and everything. Well, not anymore. Now it's Elias, but he's so over right now.
All right, so let's go on to the next one.
All right.
Raw Women's title: Alexa Bliss versus challenger Nia Jax.
Going with Nia Jax. She's the only one who hasn't had the belt yet, not because of the story and everything, and she, needs, revenge. I mean, it is a good story for her, but it's just she's the only one. She's the powerhouse of the women's division, and she never had a title run. She's always been so close every time, and it gets kind of redundant, and fans do get kind of bored when they see somebody else getting the belt either again or not deserving it. So I say Nia Jax's. She's got it.
I disagree. I'm going with Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
Simply because, there's a couple of reasons. I don't think the WWE believe in Nia Jax enough for them to give her the title. Plus, I'm banking it more on they want at least one of the women's titles to be retained. And if one of the women's titles is going to be changed that night, it's going to be
Asuka
winning it. So I think I don't think they're gonna have both women's titles.
But they've had many
hands.
WrestleManias
yeah.
before where everyone's either lost a belt or the majority of everybody lost their, is switched out.
I think it's gonna be. I think they're gonna have at least one women's title retained, and I think it's gonna be like. Although I can't imagine what they would do. Although if you really think about it, what would they do if Nia won? So
Oh, you could bring in, what do you call it?
They're gonna have to have some kind of shakeup.
Oh yeah, you could bring in that, or Nikki Cross could show up from Sanity,
But I think it's so we differ there.
or Ember
So there you
Moon.
go.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already kind of given my pick for the women's on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go ahead and
Yeah, we
count
both know
mine.
for Women's SmackDown,
Yeah.
we're both saying Asuka.
Asuka versus Charlotte Flair,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame because I bet those two are going to put on a great match.
Oh, they are.
But it's one of those things where we're going to watch it and kind of know the results, which is a shame. Which is, I'm kind of mad at WWE right now
For doing that.
for
yeah.
even doing this. I mean, I think it's great that Charlotte's got this match. I just put up a graphic for Charlotte versus Bliss
Nice.
because I'm a professional. But let's put up Asuka.
There she is.
I don't know. It's going to be mad. It's one of those things. It's like when the Undertaker had his streak, nobody's going to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those things you just kind of watch for the match. Like CM Punk versus Undertaker. This is exactly what this is. It's just like you just hope it's going to be a great match. You think it's going to be a great match.
It is,
but also
but
you
then
know
you
who
already,
the winner is going
you
to
already
be.
know the winner is.
All right, this is going to be interesting. Raw Tag Team Championship.
Oh,
We have The Bar, who even on Wikipedia aren't listed as The Bar, versus Strowman and his brother Braun Strowman.
Braun and Braun
as
Strowman.
we found out tonight.
Yes.
Seth, who do you have in that one?
I'm gonna say it's Strowman and his mystery partner.
I would think that's got to be what it is.
Yes.
I can't imagine.
Now, who's going to be his mystery partner?
That's the more interesting question.
not
is
know.
Who are the Bar going to job to is the interesting question, which is a shame.
Yeah, because they are so qualified. They are such the better tag team in everything.
Well, let's talk about
champions.
the possible candidates.
Okay.
I think you're right. You mentioned Rey Mysterio earlier, which I can't see that happening
See Rey Mysterio.
at all.
I know, but it's be like the David and Goliath, the power and the speed.
Yeah,
equals
I don't
out.
know.
It could be Big Show since he just signed another contract. Two big powerhouses. No one can stop them. Fan favorite. Everybody wants to see Elias.
Elias, it's weird because I think that's the one everybody wants to see, but it doesn't make any sense for him to team up. You know what I mean? Unless Braun just wanted to mess with him more. I don't know.
It's not Hawkins because he's still recuperating from the hole in the wall that Braun threw him through. That was fun. God, to be honest, I want to say for me, I want to see just like all the other fans. I want to see it to be Elias. But notice what WWE does. They'll probably I would not be surprised if it was Bray Wyatt. But a new thing of him, or something.
No,
But you know what I mean? Just somebody out of blue, and
seriously doubt
everybody's like, oh, okay, it's this guy.
if Bray Wyatt's going to do anything, it's going to be in the Battle Royal.
Okay.
I think it's going to come down between two people. I think it's going to be a wrestler that hasn't wrestled in a while and is returning.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's either going to be the Big Show or it's going to be Big Cass. I think.
Oh my God! I totally forgot about Big Cass.
He's been cleared to wrestle.
Yeah.
I think it would be something special for him. So I think.
And he come back as a face after.
And then he could after they lose the titles, they could split off and fight. So we both pick Strowman
and
mystery partner.
Yeah.
I could see the WWE just doing this thing where he just doesn't have a partner. You know what I mean? Or like kind of like Harvey Whippleman. It just tell him to stand there in the corner or something like that. Just
picks a personal assistant from the back or something like you come
or
with
just
me.
picks out a fan and just says, just stand there.
Oh,
Don't do
fan.
anything.
Or it could be
That'd be
what's his
crazy.
name? Oh God, I could see him pick who's the Warriors what do you call it? Who's getting the
kid.
honor? The kid. Yeah, like you stay there in the corner and I'll do everything. And he pins him.
That'd be great if you picked the kid and the kid like tagged himself in. Like
Something like that.
the
Or
bar
Braun
just,
Strowman
like-
just destroys him and then he goes to
Yeah.
the kid, tags him, and the kid pins him. 1, 2, 3.
and it's just like this really awkward moment
And it was like,
where they just killed a kid.
great. That's messed up. This isn't Kenny Omega and an 8-year-old.
They just murdered a child on TV.
But Braun Strowman versus Mystery Partner, they're going to be the winners. They're going to be the new tag team champions for Raw.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So then we have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions,
Yes.
which is a triple threat between the Usos
Mm-hmm.
and some other teams. No, we have New Day
New Day,
and
the Bludgeon Brothers.
the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yes.
Who do you got for this one?
Wow. I'm going for Luke
Unfortunately,
Harper.
you can only pick one.
I know they're going to be one. I'm going with the Bludgeon Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Well, let's see. We got New Day. We've got
Usos.
Usos.
Don't worry, the Usos will come back and win it in a state penitentiary match, an Uso penitentiary match at SummerSlam. It'll be like against the Bludgeon Brothers. So Bludgeon Brothers are going to
They've
win
been
this one.
pushing these Bludgeon Brothers pretty hard
Yeah.
now. You know what's funny about this is Harper and Rowan have never been tag team champions,
No, they haven't.
which is amazing if you really
Mhm.
think about it. You know what?
Hmm.
All right, so you're picking
Luke, yeah.
the Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers. That's what I'm picking, yeah.
All right. I should really spend more time to think about this.
Yeah, you should have, shouldn't you? Yeah.
What?
Dude Harper. Somebody called him Dude Harper, and I don't know that.
Anyway, you're picking the Bludgeon Brothers. I am picking Usos. I think they're going to retain.
That's good. That'd be good.
Usos. Going with my same strategy of somebody's got to retain.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on to... We're halfway there through the card. No. Another tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle.
Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle is your pick.
That's my pick.
You just think you don't think they're gonna have Ronda lose in her debut?
Oh,
Is that
hell
what you're
no.
saying?
Come on.
I
Besides, they already did. If you watched Raw tonight, you saw what they did to her and
so
Triple
now
H.
she's gonna get her heat back.
Yeah, she's gonna get it. Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So
It's hard to argue with that. I gotta go with the same. I gotta go Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle.
mm-hmm.
It's gonna be an interesting match, to say the least. When you have Kurt Angle, who we're not really sure what his
status.
his status is as far as his health wise goes. I don't.
He's
Because
a
I mean, he was
trooper.
taking bumps in that match he
That
had
TLC.
with the Shield. you
Yeah,
know.
the Shield TLC match.
So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both picking Angle and Rousey for that.
Yeah.
Gosh, why does Stephanie have to have a match? And I'm sorry. Let's just.
Well, she's gonna
continue.
be the one who taps out too. She's who's gonna eat the pin.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have the final match list, and then we'll pick Undertaker. We'll talk Undertaker, Cena,
Okay.
in a little bit. With Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and his buddy Sami Zayn. So who you got with this one?
Oh man, I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. Because yes, it's great. Daniel Bryan's back. He's ready to wrestle. He's cleared. He's good. But you can continue this story with him and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like this could go all the way to SummerSlam or hey, even Survivor Series. I'm gonna have to go. Oh wow. I'm gonna go with the. Just thinking, damn it. Okay, screw it. I'm gonna go with the Yep movement. I'm gonna go with KO
So
and
you're
Zayn.
picking Owens and Zayn.
Owens Zayn because the stipulation, if they lose, they're fired. They're gone. That's the stipulation. They can't wrestle anymore. They're fired. They're gone.
So fired from everywhere?
Well, they just said from professional. Daniel said from the show, professional wrestling. You know, you're fired from here. You're fired, which means if they do lose, they could go to Raw, but you could really have a good program with Kevin Owens Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan.
Ask me if I'm going to pick Bryan and McMahon.
Are you going to pick Bryan and McMahon?
Yes! Yes! You'd be stupid not to pick a returning Daniel Bryan. How could you bet against a returning Daniel Bryan? You're out of your mind, Seth.
I am.
Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, Super Shane McMahon,
but mind you,
are going to win this match. It is going to be such a yes.
Mind you, Vince McMahon and everybody else likes to do the opposite. They love to do the opposite, and they do it frequently.
It's going to be Shane and Bryan.
You say Shane and Bryan. I'm going to go with the Yep movement just to be different.
I will give you my beard if I'm wrong.
You will shave your beard.
No, I didn't say I'd shave it. I said give it to you.
Okay, thank you.
I will sign it over
to me.
To you. If that is the case.
I can see it on the next week's Ringside review. Hey guys, how you doing? My face hurts.
Now we have to talk about some ugly business.
Oh God, here we go again.
Cena versus The Undertaker. First of all, if I may be so bold.
And you are, so go for it.
This is a match we would have liked to have seen, possibly, 10 years ago at WrestleMania. Maybe. That's the jury's still out on that one.
Yeah.
I really don't want to see this match now.
I don't. I agree with you on that.
The way they have been building this up has to be one of the worst builds for a WrestleMania match in recent memory. This is big. I don't know, unless John Cena is a clear-cut heel, because all he's been doing is heel stuff.
Yes.
You know, okay, let's just backtrack a little bit. He's used his clout over at WWE because he's a free agent. He's the only free agent.
Yeah.
So he can go wherever he wants and does whatever he does, you know, whatever.
Yeah. He's the golden calf.
As if that wasn't enough to get you heat.
Yeah.
He's
a part-timer.
He used it to get matches, world title matches, and then lost those matches. For both world titles, he lost them. And then he's basically bullying, because that's all this is. He's bullying The Undertaker out of retirement. He just looks like a giant heel here. And then and then tonight he made things worse when he basically said he was too good for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah. He quote from quote, pretty much.
I don't remember what he said exactly. He said something along the lines of he didn't want to take someone else's spot.
Yeah.
As if the 50 people in that ring were like, oh no, sorry, Kurt Hawkins, you can't have a match tonight. You know, sorry, developmental talent, you can't. You know.
Yeah.
Who was the guy from? Oh God, what's the NXT group? They're all like crazy people.
Sanity.
Sanity with the big guy, the big Irish guy.
The big one with the beard and the big
Killian. What's his name?
Which one?
The big guy. He was in that.
Yeah, he was in it
the
too.
Andre.
Yeah.
Battle Royal, and then he just went back to NXT, and we never heard from him again.
But the point is, John Cena. He's like, dude, this makes you look like a bully. This makes you look like a silver spoon kid. Like, I don't care about you. I never have to begin with. And using this, like you said, this type of clout, it's just like you're picking on an old guy who just retired. He doesn't want to do this shit anymore. Let's remember The Undertaker, what he used to be, instead of how we remember him now, just an old man with bad knees. Because that's what we're going to get. And I don't want to see that.
So let's talk something I'd like to point out. It's a no-win scenario. For both, because for John Cena. Just let me talk, God damn it! I'm trying to talk over here.
I'm listening.
if John Cena wins, he has beaten up was Undertaker 54?
55, 56.
Something like that. He's beating up an old man. It's if he wins, he's beating up an old man. If he loses, he's lost to an old man. It's like, this is why you don't want to wrestle women. It's for the same thing. It's like if you win, you just beat up a woman. If you lost, you just got beat up by a woman. It's the same thing with Undertaker. Plus, if he wins, it's like, well, he was kind of happy retired, and you bullied him out of retirement just to beat him. Plus, I mean, how good could this match possibly be? Now, if they go on Sunday and have this spectacular match, then I will eat my words. I will write them down on edible paper. No. I was just going to say I was going to literally eat my words. It gives us something to talk about, so there's that.
We're very passionate about this subject. Mike, I agree with you.
But I don't know. I think it'd be kind of interesting if they had their match after the main event.
That's what I was about to say.
And it was the real main event.
That's what I was thinking. It was just going to be a closing segment, like on a Raw closing segment. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, and then they came out to American Badass or
And
whatever.
then
That's the other thing. Is he going to be an American Badass or the Dead Man?
Yeah. Worth hoping, you and I, we both talked about this earlier, that it would be nice.
That would be the only thing that would get Kid Rock over.
Yes.
Is if he came out and did American Badass.
Saying American Badass and just says, "Are you ready?"
All right, Seth.
Yeah.
We are running a little behind tonight, but we can still get this show done in time.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do your favorite spot of the night. Are you ready for this?
What is it? Mortal
That was
Kombat?
so ugly sounding. We're going to do the Raw review, where Seth recaps Raw's 3-hour presentation in 3 minutes, and with the help of Shawn Michaels, who is going to assist us tonight.
May the power of Shawn.
So here we go. I'm going to start the timer.
Hit it.
And whenever you're ready. Are you ready?
Hit it.
All right. Let's go.
Monday Night Raw live in Atlanta, Georgia. Beginning segment in the ring with Jonathan Coachman. Face off between Stephanie McMahon and Triple H versus Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. Stephanie McMahon puts Ronda Rousey through a table, verifying that Ronda Rousey will win her match at WrestleMania. Bayley versus Sonya Deville. They showed the women's trophy for Battle Royale at WrestleMania. And like I said, it looks like a failed art project. Bayley wins with a rollover pin. Sasha Banks comes in for the save and rescue. Then Bayley and Sasha Banks are fighting each other with Absolution coming in to finish them off. Video package of Asuka. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. One-on-one match in the night is the match of the night. A length match, very good, high spots, everything. But Seth wins it finally with a curb stomp and pin. Video package of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Next, we have Raw Tag Team Champions Cesaro and Sheamus. And what's the segment with Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman shows up. Braun Strowman says that he has a tag team partner, and it's his twin brother, Braun Strowman. Goldust now saying he's entering the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Then all of a sudden he's interrupted by Woken Hardy. An impromptu match, Goldust versus Woken Hardy. Woken Hardy wins. So now we have a video shoot of Alexa Bliss body shaming Nia Jax. Not cool, WWE. Next, we have John Cena promo about Undertaker's challenge at WrestleMania. Blah, 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 blah. No one's there. Wham, wham. I'm John Cena. Next, we have Walk with Elias segment. Heath Slater interrupts and has an impromptu match with Elias. Of course, Elias wins. Braun Strowman's walking backstage. Hawkins talks to him about being his partner, and he says, "This could be my big break." Then he grabs Hawkins, and he throws him through the wall and says, "There's your big break." Next, we have the Nia Jax has a promo. He talks about how she's going to squash Alexa Bliss like a bug at WrestleMania and win the WWE's Women's Championship on Raw. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James versus Asuka and Dana Brooke. The main event of the night. Asuka wins with an Asuka lock on Mickie James. Then they double team on her, and Nia Jax shows up for the save. Finally, the final segment, it's just Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and they call each other out, and pretty much all hell breaks loose. The end.
I wasn't even paying attention. 1 minute and 55 seconds?
1 minute and 57.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There's 3 hours of Raw.
In under 2 minutes.
In under 2 minutes. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean, for helping us out.
That this build up to WrestleMania, it doesn't feel like it. It's just another pay-per-view, you know? It's another, it doesn't have that feel anymore like it used to.
WWE is weird. What can you say?
It's being nice. It's the only product that's worth watching when that's being nice.
All right, so Sean, since you are Mr. WrestleMania, we're going to go to the tweet spot now. This is actually Shawn Michaels' favorite moment of our show. Did you know that?
Nice.
I read that somewhere.
Nice. It's canon, folks.
Where he said that this was his favorite. No, I don't know. But we're gonna go ahead and because it's Shawn Michaels, we're gonna go ahead and play his music.
Hit the music.
And we're gonna do the tweet spot. So here we go. Here's the tweet spot, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back after this.
Oh shit, the camera's still on. Hands off the merchandise, ladies. I did like that one. The only way John Cena will ever find the Undertaker.
All right, Seth, we're back. And we're back.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. That was fun. I hope you all enjoyed the tweet spot. Of course, if you would like to be featured on the tweet spot, let's explain what the tweet spot is. It's our favorite tweets of the night presented and on our show. So if you'd like to be on that, just use the hashtag Raw. Of course, as always, if you use the hashtag Ringside Review, you will definitely get on because you will have been proving yourself a loyal supporter of the show. Seth,
yo,
we're going to talk about what happened on this day.
On this day, I see clearly. Hit it.
All right, on this day. Well, of course, we are in WrestleMania season.
Mm-hmm.
So April 2nd was the day that hosted, not really hosted, or on this day, we had lots of WrestleMania, is what I'm trying to say. In fact, if I counted, 1, 2, 3, 4 WrestleManias, unless last year's happened. Did last year's happen today? I don't really remember. It was such a big show tonight. I had to do all this other things to prepare for it. I really don't have what happened last year. I don't think it was. I could look it up though.
Look it up, but I don't think so.
So we're just gonna go back way back. And then 29 years ago, it was WrestleMania 5. Of course, this was the one where the Mega Powers exploded. Macho Man, Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Whose corner is Elizabeth in?
Yep.
It's one of the classic WrestleMania matchups. It was Savage's second time main eventing WrestleMania, for having won the year before. This was a great build-up. Macho Man made this feud.
Yes, he did.
With his promos. When he did this one promo where, you'll remember if I start talking about it, where he's talking about he's just so mad at Hogan not being there for Elizabeth. He goes, he promised me he was going to be there, wouldn't let anything happen to Elizabeth. Like, oh, he promised.
It's like his heart was broken. His soul was broken.
You know what I loved about Randy Savage?
What?
He turned his back to the camera and talked.
Yeah.
and that made it more real to me. Like he didn't even because you see all these other guys today, they're cutting promos, they're looking directly into the camera, they never break away.
Yeah, and
but Savage, he would just become so overcome with emotion. He would turn around and he would pull his hair. It was like, he was great. He was one of the best, one of the greatest.
Very good.
Other notable things about that show, of course, that is the biggest match of the night. I should say. Mr. Perfect defeated the Blue Blazer, which of course was Owen Hart's debut at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Jake the Snake defeated Andre the Giant, and Rick Rude defeated Ultimate Warrior for the Intercontinental Championship.
Wow.
So there you go. This was not the pose down. I think the pose down was at Royal Rumble a couple months before.
Yeah, it was.
They had the pose down. 29 years ago, on this same day as WrestleMania 5, NWA, should say, tried to compete with WrestleMania by having Clash of Champions. Not a great idea. They had the Superdome, and the Superdome, as you know, is a very large.
Yeah.
And you could have, I don't know what the max capacity is, like 60 to 80, something around there.
Mm-hmm.
They could only fill 5,300 in the Superdome. So, yeah, it was largely empty.
Like 5.5% of it was like being used.
It did feature, however. By the way, the card for this night wasn't bad at all.
No, I've seen it, yeah.
You had, anyway, just go back and look at it. You had some classic wrestlers in there. But the main event was Steamboat versus Flair in a best 2 out of 3 falls match. And it was called by the Wrestling Observer the match of the year. So,
yes,
5-star match between those two. 23 years ago was WrestleMania 11, which has been said by many as the worst WrestleMania. It featured the main event of Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, that's right.
Which is, in 2018, is a head scratcher. But if you had to understand, it was a different time back then.
Mm-hmm.
But to put a non-wrestling sports celebrity. I was going to say celebrity. It wasn't really. It was a sports celebrity.
Sports celebrity with athletic
in the main
sports,
event,
yeah.
was odd.
Well, you forget, Mike, back in the 80s, they would do that. Like, if they didn't have enough wrestlers, like, look at that Royal Rumble that year.
Yeah, but of all people, Lawrence Taylor real?
He was big, yes.
I never really thought of him as being, like, on that level of, like, gosh, who can I say? Like Mike Tyson,
But for NFL football, for defenders, like he was that big.
Or even like Barry Bonds in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was so huge,
There was one Royal Rumble that had some of the defensive line, and it's true, defensive linemen of the winning Chicago Bears when they won the Super Bowl that year.
Well, that was WrestleMania 2, excuse me.
WrestleMania 2, and a Battle Royal because they didn't have enough wrestlers.
Yeah, but they didn't put them in the main event.
I know they did,
WrestleMania.
But it's just. That's just what they did.
Shawn Michaels went against Diesel for the title that year. And
that wasn't the main event.
That wasn't the main event.
Yeah.
They'd like for us to remember that as the main event, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Lawrence Taylor, for the experience he had, could have been worse. If you compare that match to some of the, other matches in WWF, I don't know, in like the late 80s, it was. I mean, compared to Ultimate Warrior, he wasn't bad. I hate to say that about
Yeah, I
Warrior,
know, but it's true though.
But if you go back and watch it, if you've never seen that match before, if you've stayed away from that WrestleMania, it's painful because they had John Turturro doing the backstage interview, and they had, I think the highlight was Sid trying to restart. Was that the one where Sid tried to restart and Jim Ross like, we're live. No,
buddy. We're going live. Shoot, yeah, that's the one.
Sorry. I think that was the same one.
Yeah.
And it had its moments. It had a British Bulldog and I believe it was Lex Luger team up.
I think so.
So it had some interesting moments. It had, Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund with Roddy Piper as the referee.
Oh,
it was an I Quit match. Oh,
yes.
It was just ugly. It was ugly. So, all right, so 23 years, that was 23 years ago. 18 years ago, WrestleMania 2000. Oh, boy. We watched this together.
We did. WrestleMania 2000.
We hated this WrestleMania. They did not have a single one-on-one match with no stipulations. The closest they had was the Cat versus Terry Runnels.
Yes.
And like, what were they like a bra and panties?
It was a
match
bra
or
and panties match.
something like that.
Because JR just kept saying one word at everyone. He always likes to say, you guessed it, puppies, over and over.
JR?
Not JR. I'm sorry, Jerry the King Lawler, the King. Blech.
So yeah.
Shows you how tired I am.
Kind of the highlights, I guess you say, is Hardcore Holly left with the hardcore title when
Yes.
he wasn't supposed to. Have you heard this story?
Yeah, I remember that.
They kind of messed up the ending there. What saved this, in my opinion, from being one of the worst WrestleManias, or right up there with 11, if not surpassing it, was the triangle match between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christians.
This was the first one, right?
It was really the first TLC match. And then, of course, you had Benoit, Angle, and Jericho in a triple threat, which is weird because Angle had to put up both titles, but he had 2 falls. And you could tell they really wanted to end on a happy ending, so that's why they let Jericho win the European title. But they also really wanted Benoit to have the IC.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing. I just remember Ice-T was at that WrestleMania. 12 years ago, WrestleMania 22, Big Time, which is such a weird tagline for this one. This was a couple of highlights from the RVD won the Money in the Bank ladder match. JBL defeated Benoit for the U.S. title. Probably the highlight of the night, Edge put Mick Foley through a flaming table.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the big moments. Mick Foley has said that was his WrestleMania moment that he finally got to have. This was more Mickey James did the V for Trish Stratus.
Oh, yeah.
Which they've edited out since. Probably one of the most forgettable matches of all time at WrestleMania is Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon in a no-holds-barred match. I have no recollection of this match. I'm going to have to go back and watch this. It's so forgettable. Cena defeated Triple H in the main event through submission because Triple H doesn't like to lay down for a 3 count.
No, he doesn't.
Interesting side note, CM Punk was one of the gangsters in Cena's intro.
Yep.
So this was unofficially Punk's WrestleMania debut. 11 years ago on Raw, the Hardys won a Battle Royal to win the tag team titles. 6 years ago, this was a big night. Brock Lesnar returned to the WWE after a considerable length of time.
Yes, right.
Since leaving right after WrestleMania 20. And he basically demolished Cena. It was such a big moment.
It was in Miami.
It was exciting.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was pretty exciting. So yeah, and then you had also that night Lord Tensai debuted. Yeah, I want to say Ryback debuted that night as well.
Ryback.
I didn't find that when I was researching online, but I wish I had more time to do this. I just have all day. No,
You do.
I think this was Ryback's debut as well.
Yeah, it
if I'm
was.
not mistaken.
I do miss that Feed Me More.
Yeah.
I miss
He could have been so great. He could have been. I think if he had a better attitude, maybe.
And waited for his time. Waited for. Yeah, he would have.
I think he would have. He was so red hot.
Yeah, he was.
In the fall of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Seth, let's get right down to it. Shawn Michaels, will you capture? You've already captured the title of Mr. WrestleMania, so
and our hearts.
We can't name another WrestleMania. Although we have named a Mr. Royal Rumble, Mr. Survivor Series, and Mr. SummerSlam, Lisa needs braces, and a Mr. Elimination Chamber. We've named them all, but we can't name a Mr. WrestleMania. So what we're going to do, instead, we are going to crown the greatest moment in WrestleMania history. Here, Seth, here are some options for you. This was incredibly hard to narrow down because say what you want about the WWF, WWE. They've given us some great moments.
They
in
have.
WrestleMania.
They have.
Here's some just to name a few. WrestleMania 12. The Heartbreak Kid defeats Bret Hart after, in my opinion, I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and watch this one. But for the longest time, I considered this the greatest WrestleMania match
Of all time.
Was the Iron Man match between Hart and Michaels, which went into overtime. I love that match. Yeah, it just shows to you that if you really know what you're doing in the ring, you could make an entire hour entertaining.
Yeah.
which
I can see
only
that.
a handful could do. Like Flair and Steamboat probably.
Flair and Steamboat would do all it. Yeah.
But HBK and Hart, they made this. The whole match from beginning to finish was exciting, and even in overtime, it was good. So that's him. The boyhood dreams finally come true, or
Yeah.
So there's that. How about WrestleMania 13? Austin versus Bret Hart. Bret Hart pops back up on the list. It was the double turn. Hart turned heel and Austin turned face, all in the same match. The blood pouring from Stone Cold's head, and he refuses to tap out, and he passes out. This is before they overdid it.
Yeah.
I remember when was it Jericho and Triple H in the Last Man Standing? It's like he passed out or something. It's just, there was something like that. I remember Jericho and Triple H had a match where I think Triple H, I think Jericho, whoever the face was, tapped out because he wasn't gonna. I mean, he passed out before because he wasn't gonna tap out.
He wasn't gonna tap out. He passed out.
They've done it a few times since they're like,
oh yeah,
it's always a safe way to save the heels. Like, oh, they refuse to give up, but they'll pass it. This is like one of the first times they'd done it, and it was our first time in my memory they've done it. And it really worked, and it made Austin just look like a hero. Continuing with Austin defeating Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14.
Oh yeah,
it was like the
beginning of the Attitude Era.
It wasn't the beginning of the Attitude Era per se. It was the beginning of the Stone Cold era.
Okay.
And it was such a cool moment. Mike Tyson going in, and he's actually on Austin's side the whole time, and it was like at WrestleMania, Vince McMahon was so smart because he knew people were going to tune in just to see Mike Tyson. So he had built up every match like before, and there's like this special video. Every match had this little special video package that just hyped up the match
even more.
And so you were all caught up when you were watching the match because Vince knew that he was going to get a lot of people tuning in for the first time
because of Mike,
and it caught everybody up, and it was so cool. Man, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1998. He transcended wrestling, and we've always said that in '98 you could be seen wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin T-shirt, and there was always a little bit of reservation whenever you walk out the door with a wrestling shirt on. You're afraid you're going to get stared at or
get mocked at or something. But when you had
Stone Cold, and especially in Texas, you got to understand in Texas at that time. Stone Cold, I mean,
Austin 316 was a way of life.
He was just as legit as Conor McGregor is today. Like, if people think Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey or Tito whatever, just all these like legitimate badasses, Brock Lesnar. I mean, Stone Cold was right up there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So he did a lot to legitimize wrestling. But at that time, that was the beginning of that, and that was one of the big moments. That was really cool. This moment has since been voided out, but it was a great moment at the time where Benoit won the World Heavyweight title and Eddie Guerrero came out to congratulate him.
I got that here, yeah. WrestleMania 20.
I remember watching that live, and it had been months since I'd watched wrestling, but I just wanted to see WrestleMania 20. It was the first and only time I've ever watched WrestleMania by myself.
Yeah.
I ordered the pay-per-view, and I just watched it by myself, and I saw that moment. I thought, oh, this is really cool. They came out. But, Benoit murdered people, so it's voided. It's out. By the way, I'm getting sick and tired of having to remind people of why you shouldn't honor that guy. Almost daily, I come across a Facebook group or something along those lines where people are like, Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame. And I always have to remind people, no, he murdered his family. Well, he had head trauma. So did thousands of other wrestlers. So did millions of other people who didn't wrestle. You know what the difference between them and Benoit is? They didn't murder people. So, that's not an excuse.
And you would have the argument, well, that's Benoit. I'm talking about the wrestler, not the person.
You're making excuses for a murderer. You really need to examine your life. Re-examine your life. So it could have it had a good shot at winning if he had, if Benoit had gone on and just not murdered his family with Eddie, dying, that is what it is. But if Benoit had gone on, and let's say he died of natural causes like a year or two later, that may be the best WrestleMania moment ever. But because of what happened, it's voided out. Don't at me. As the kids say. How about Lesnar ending Undertaker's streak?
Yo, I've got that one too.
That was an unbelievable moment.
WrestleMania 30.
I remember when it happened. I was thinking two things. If I remember, this happened. It seems like this was only like 4 years ago. It seems like so long ago. I remember thinking they're gonna restart the match. Something screwy's gonna happen. And that's what I kept waiting for. It's like something's gonna happen. Like Vince is gonna come out and restart it, or
dead
whoever,
that audience was? Like you could hear.
They were all in shock.
You're
It
just
was
in
crazy.
shock.
And the other thing I thought was somebody screwed up. Like the referee screwed up. Brock screwed up. Undertaker forgot to kick out. Something happened. So it was a huge moment.
Yeah, he had a concussion. You couldn't even remember.
You won't forget.
Yeah, neither could Undertaker. He had a concussion.
Seth Rollins cashes in.
That's one of my top favorites. WrestleMania. That's the next year, WrestleMania 31.
That was such a cool moment.
So awesome.
That saved that main event.
Yes,
too.
it did.
So that was great. How about Savage reuniting with Miss Elizabeth?
WrestleMania 7.
That was such a great moment where they were just so emotional, and it was like Savage's face turn again. And, that was such a great moment. It's one of the WrestleMania moments that just.
I've got one.
What's that?
WrestleMania 18, Icon versus Icon.
Yeah, I got that here too.
Okay.
When Rock and Hogan faced off in the ring, that was a great
so
one.
good.
That was so cool.
That was just.
And then they weren't the main event. I'll never forget that. I just remember how being mentally checked out for Triple H versus Jericho. Nobody cared. They should have just went on before. But how about Warrior defeating Hogan at WrestleMania 6?
WrestleMania 6, yeah.
The alleged torch passing that never happened.
That never really, because months later.
But it was such a cool moment to see Warrior finally get to that moment. And then, I don't know. That was such a big match at the time. I remember being a kid. You remember being a kid and it was Warrior versus Hogan? That was such a big deal.
It was like, it's like, well,
who are you going to cheer for?
I don't. As a young child, you're like, oh, I can't. But
it was like, who are you going to cheer for? Your mother or your father? It's exactly
no kidding.
What
that's how it was. Yeah. And they both look at you going, you better pick me. You better pick me. Like, oh God. I went for Hogan. I was a Hulkamaniac. So.
I was going for Warrior, and then Warrior won, and I felt really bad. I remember that because I was such a big Ultimate Warrior mark when I was a kid. Still am.
Yeah.
I was such a big Ultimate Warrior mark when I was a kid. I was like, I want to see Ultimate Warrior win. I thought I love it, and then he won. I was like, oh, I feel so terrible. I wanted Hogan because it's like Hogan's not the champ. Something's not right.
Something's not right. Something's wrong. And you see when Hogan's just leaving the ring.
Keep in mind, we were children at the time. You gotta understand. We don't know what we.
I've always been a Hulkamaniac since day one. So yeah.
But no, of course.
It didn't work out so well. They gave him back the belt.
Before I name off, which I think you see what's coming. The big one. Are there any other little ones you'd like to mention?
Let's see. You also had let's see. I did like WrestleMania 28 and WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 28 was the end of an era when Triple H versus Undertaker with Shawn Michaels and a special guest referee for the. That was one of Undertaker's last good matches.
Yeah, it was overrated match.
Well, WrestleMania 30, the Yes Movement, when Daniel Bryan finally won.
To me, that's always going to be tainted by the fact that they didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, but that's what made it so good that it did happen. That they gave in.
At that point, I just didn't care anymore. So just whatever.
But I know which one it is.
But it has to be. It has to be. It's the. If you had to pick one moment to summarize WrestleMania,
together,
it's got to be WrestleMania 3. Andre versus Hogan.
That's right.
Specifically,
the Slam.
The Slam.
The Slam that was heard around the world. When no one has ever body slammed.
Well, that's not true. If you go back, you can see lots of videos of people slamming Andre.
That's true. Well, yes. But as in for WWE,
it's funny.
For WWE canon, this was Hulk Hogan. This is the first time somebody picked him up and body slammed him. And then leg drop, and he won it.
There was there's a video somewhere. I can't remember who it was. But it's like a mid-Carter guy. Mm-hmm. Like, just picked up and slammed Andre like it was nothing.
Like it was nothing.
Then went on to the match. But yeah, this is the moment it's synonymous with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's almost synonymous with wrestling. It's the biggest moment with all due respect to everyone that worked for Crockett Promotions and NWA and everybody else that wrestled in the 80s, this was the most iconic moment of wrestling in the 80s. It had to have been, you know. So there you go. It didn't take us. You didn't need us to tell you this.
Yeah, you didn't. If you know this or if you've heard of this,
if you're a wrestling fan, you know about this.
Yeah.
You know. What a WrestleMania that was. You had the alleged attendance record. You had Savage versus Steamboat.
Yeah, for the IC title.
Then you had the main event. So that was
oh God, it was amazing.
I don't think I've never, and you had I think Aretha Franklin singing the national, or was it Ray Charles? I can't remember.
No, it was
Aretha. Yeah,
it was Aretha Franklin. Yeah, America the Beautiful.
I don't know if I've ever sat and watched this from beginning to end. There's probably a lot of filler you couldn't stand.
There was a lot of well. The thing is, when Blockbuster, I know a few kids remember that, but every weekend they would have all these videotapes, and we would just go in the special interest sports section, and they'd have every WrestleMania tape, and I would just rent one WrestleMania every weekend and just watch the whole thing. Watch the whole cards and everything. It was great.
You know what's funny is we did that. Me and my brother Andy, we watched WrestleMania 6 like years after. Like we watched it like a good 10 years after it happened. We were just bored to tears because we were used to Attitude Era wrestling. You know, and then we're sitting there watching, you know, oh, cool, it's the Bushwhackers. And it's like, okay.
Oh, wow, that's it?
The Rougeaus. Okay.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Wow, that's it?
It wasn't until later I could really appreciate the Rougeaus, but
yeah.
Seth, I have a little nugget I'm going to throw out there.
Okay.
This is to keep people interested. I came upon a video. I don't know if this is on the network. I don't think it's on the network. I could look for it. I doubt it. I was going through the garage.
The garage. You hear that, folks?
And I came across a little DVD called The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior.
You found that?
Yes. I think we were going to have to watch that and review it.
Oh God,
and
when?
I don't know, but it's something it's something I think we need to think about for the future.
We don't have to think about the future, okay?
Yeah.
This isn't Batman. We're just going to do it.
Yeah.
We're doing this. Let's find out when.
Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. Something you can look forward to on Ringside Review.
Yes, because mind you, this is no longer printed. This is not
This is
anymore.
the one that they're ashamed that they
They're
made.
ashamed that they did.
With all good.
With all good intentions, yeah.
No, with good reasons.
This is before Vince McMahon and Warrior made up, and now he's revered around the world in the WWE. Yeah, this is really bad.
All right, man. Well, we got to get out of here because it's way past our bedtimes.
All right.
But you've been watching a presentation of Hot Air. This has been Ringside